And let's turn to rugby, where former South African national coach Rassie Erasmus battled to overcome a serious life-threatening disease, even as he led his nation to the World Cup glory in Japan last year. Erasmus had been treated for an uncommon inflammation of the blood vessels throughout 2019. CGTN Sias Plessis has more.
The news that the South African director of rugby had overcome a near-fatal disease captured the headlines of most national news outlets and prompted journalists to seek out medical experts to explain what exactly this extremely rare condition was that Rassie Erasmus had booted into touch.
Most people with this condition find the symptoms and the disease being within the lungs. That's the most common area. With autoimmune disorders, times of stress or lowered immune systems, like with other infections, can trigger symptoms. So, the stress of the build-up to a Rugby World Cup, the expectation of 60 million people on your shoulders going over, would definitely have made his symptoms worse and could have attributed to flare-ups of this condition.
There were a handful of people who knew about the disease, but not once did the World Cup winning coach let on that he was ill or undergoing treatment that was very similar to chemotherapy.
It must have been so challenging, but he dealt with it in such a proper and mature way that no one ever recognized it. And I must be honest, I was made aware of it I don't know if it was a couple of months or whatever prior to the World Cup, probably 4 or 5 months prior to the World Cup, and we were doing a different shoot, and when the person told me, I was blown away. I was like, keepers, but could that at all maybe jeopardize him going to the World Cup? And never ever, even knowing all of that, never did you notice anything different. It's quite fascinating.
He's the type of guy that when he sets his mind to a goal, you'd have to literally tear him away from that goal because he'll do everything he can to get to it.
Despite overcoming the life-threatening disease, Erasmus remains focused on improving rugby in South Africa and keeping the Springboks on top of the world, even if it is as the director of rugby and not as the full-time Springbok coach.
I can't see Rassie just stepping away and saying, no, I'm not going to feel the same kind of pressure. I'm not going to give the same kind of effort or anything like that. He will be entrenched and so committed to the cause of it still being successful.
If you have to delve into the adversity many players and the coach have had to endure on their World Cup journey, those obstacles appear far more daunting than actually competing for the coveted Webb Ellis Trophy. It puts a lot into perspective and makes you realize that sometimes even something as big as the World Cup is secondary to what really matters in life. Sias Plessis, CGTN, Johannesburg.